Great.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our team call tonight. I'm really excited about the subject that I'm going to be talking about tonight. I have just kind of had an awesome month of August, and this is just one little skill that I had learned actually through this a personal development series that I was doing with Tiffany Peterson. And so I'm just going to share some simple skills that really make a big difference in our life and particularly our business. I've had to go through the mind shift that getting clients and developing my business really is a bigger picture than me. It's not about me. It's not about the money. It's not about any of that. It really opens an avenue for me to meet people and really connect people on a deeper, more personal level. And so this subject tonight, it's called the 5 Gates. And this really has really changed my perspective on when I do an interested call, and even when I meet people on the street or anywhere in life. I feel like I'm learning how to connect on a deeper level quicker, and that really makes a difference when your whole purpose is to care about people and really be empathetic and authentic with them. So just to get started, the 5 Gates is all about asking more questions. That is the bottom line, is asking more about your clients, about the people that you meet. I think we talk way too much and we need to ask a lot more. So practicing leading out with questions is really the key. When you're talking to somebody and you're leading with questions, they hear themselves say things that they needed to hear. It's not about you having all the answers or about you telling them what they need to do. In fact, when you tell people, when it comes out of your mouth, it's just an opinion. And they may believe it, they may not. It's just an opinion. But when it comes out of their mouth, it's factual, and they get a deeper emotional connection to it, and they are ready to do something about it quicker. So that's the big shift, is not telling people, but listening, asking questions so that they discover what they need and how to change it. So the 5 gates it's a process that you're going to work people through, and starting with like the first question is just helping them identify where they are now. So questions like, how is life for you? How's your health? How's your business going for you? Opening up ways to help them discover where they are right now. Let's see, where are you struggling and balancing your life? Asking questions to help them kind of open up and identify where they are right now. So that's the first gate, is now, where they are now. And as you hear those answers, it kind of listen to what they're saying. Then you move to the next gate, which is, where do they want to be? In our business, we sometimes call this the dream weaving. Like, help them create or discover, identify what it is they want to be, and what they have to look for in life. I have Lisa and Melinda on the phone and on this call too. And if you guys want to chime in or have any suggestions, that I'd love to have your input too, about like we talked about where they are now and where they want to be. Do you have any like questions that would be good, or examples to share?
Well, I think I love the beginning part of where they are now, especially when it, like you're saying, when it comes out of their mouth, it really helps them see like maybe where they're in discomfort, like what kind of things are uncomfortable for them right now, and helps them, move into that place of, okay, well, this is where I am now. Now, where would I rather be, and what would I rather experience?
Perfect. Yeah, that's exactly. That's really helpful. You you talked about pain. Like, not that everybody's in pain, but there is a discomfort in everybody's life, probably right now, and helping them identify that. That does move them into, well, if you're not comfortable with that, well, where do you want to be?
Right.
And what does that look like? How would that feel? If what is that costing you right now? No, these questions apply to everything.
Yeah. I also like to ask them, part of that is, how is that affecting their relationships? And I find that, especially, I mean, this is universal, I think, for anybody, but, especially for me, what I relate to is just as a mom, how does it affect your relationship with your kids or with your significant other when you're unhappy with yourself?
Mm-hmm. Great. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Chime in anytime. Um, so that gets them through the first gate of where they are now and where they want to be. And once they create that visual of where they want to be, it just leads right into like the gap between it, that space between where they are and where they want to be. You ask a question like, well, how long have you been feeling that way? How long has this been a problem? And how long have you been struggling with this? I mean, and as they answer, it helps them realize that they've been miserable for a long time, or whatever it is. I really feel like this is, like you said, universal. It can be for anything: parenting, relationships, clients, businesses. If you're working with a lot of health coaches and trying to build their business, these are great questions still. It's universal. So that gap, I'm here, but I want to be here. What's holding you back? Why haven't, what could you do to take that big leap? What's the next step for you? And I love this because we don't have to have all the answers. We don't have to go into this and tell them what they need to do. They're discovering these because the answers are coming out of their mouth. And one easy way to approach that, sometimes if it's really sensitive or painful or uncomfortable, you can always kind of take the blame and say, well, I'm just curious, how long has that been a problem? And, so they may not feel as attacked or like you're digging really deep, but just, I'm curious. I want to know how you feel about that, or what's holding you back from changing. And as they talk about that, it leads to the fourth gate, which is, are they ready for change? What are they willing to do to get that change? With or without my help, are you ready to change? Kind of getting them on that scale from 1 to 10 without saying, where are you on the scale from 1 to 10? You could say that, but this really verbalizes out of their mouth that they are committed, or maybe they're not. This tells a lot about it. And maybe at this point, when you see that they're not committed, maybe you go back to step number 1. Maybe you haven't identified really where the pain is, or the thing that's really holding them back. So I love how fluid these gates are. It's just really makes you more connected with people and empathetic. Um, so this fourth one is the commitment to change. Are they ready? What is it? What are they willing to do to change? If they're not ready, then how will you know when you are ready? What sign or what will make the difference for you?
Ooh, I like that one, Becky.
What if nothing changes?
That's a great question. So what if nothing changes? Are you happy where you are? Hello, Carrie. Glad to have you on.
Thanks.
Yeah, so we're just talking about the 5 gates, and we're already on number 4 about the commitment to change and helping them work through that. So that's a really great question. What if you don't change? Are you okay with that? And it just takes all of the pressure off of us of making them forced to change. It's not us, it's them. When they're ready, they'll come. So when they are ready, it just leads into the 5th gate of what's the solution? How do you see this making a difference for you? What is the first step? What is your first step for change? Why are you choosing to change now? Just helping them identify that the solution for them, whatever it is, and having them verbalize it and asking them, how can I help you? Don't you just love that? It just takes all the stress away that I let them ask for it.
Yeah.
Does anybody have anything to add to that?
Well, I love the last part of that too, because I think oftentimes, again, like you mentioned, this is about asking questions, not about telling. And sometimes we can get into the trap of just tell, and give more information and more information. And in the case of, maybe you're talking to someone who wants to know about the program, sometimes we think we just need to keep filling in the empty spaces, and we'll go into, the vitamins and, all the little specifics of the program. But that last part I really love, and I think it takes a little bit of practice, and it can feel kind of uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. But for you to ask them, what drew you to me in this program, so that they're saying through their own mouth, like, this is why Lisa or Becky or Melinda or Carrie, this is why I think what you do is going to work well for me. Mm-hmm. So I know that we don't sell anything as health coaches, but, for lack of a better term, that lets them sell themselves on the program, because it's coming out of their mouth again, instead of me saying, well, here's why I think this is going to work for you.
Yes. Having them verbalize what we could do for them. Mm-hmm. I was just reading in my personal development book today. It's the 4 spiritual laws of prosperity. And there was one little part in there today that just mentioned, she's a religious person, and she was using the example of the Bible and Jesus on the earth. He could heal every single person on the earth. He had the power to do that. But who did he help? He helped the ones that came to him and asked.
Yeah.
And he knew that they were ready. And that just jumped out to me today, that I realized that this last part, the solution, is like, offering, what can I do for you? And that shows that they're committed and that they have trust in that relationship that you're building with them. And when they say, whatever their answer is, then you're ready to help them, and they're ready to receive that help.
Yeah.
And the success of those kind of clients or those kind of businesses that's what I'm looking for.
Right.
And how many clients have we started that drop off within a couple of weeks, and you're like, oh, I knew they weren't ready. But those credit card throwers that just jump right into it. And I thought, it's really a skill to learn to ask questions and to get them to answer, to get them to create the solutions that work best for them.
Right.
So do you want
Well,
to
I
say?
would love, yeah, well, I mean, from my perspective, really quick, I just want to say, like, I feel like even when I get through, talking somebody through the 5 gates, what is now formed into our own interested script that Becky put in Action Pack tonight, even if they don't end up signing up at the end of the call, what it does for me is makes me feel like I have built a much stronger foundation for the relationship with that person,
Yes.
because I really have listened and I've really heard the things that are important to them. It's a lot deeper conversation that I think, will turn into, even if it's not right now, it'll turn into a really great working relationship later on. But I would also love for you to share with everybody just your experience, since you kind of, learned this way of, communicating with people yourself over the summer. Will you share that? What your August was like?
Sure. My month of August, I got 9 new clients. And I will admit, some of them were credit card throwers. They were just jumping in and wanting to do this. But I was learning these skills also. And I practicing learning how to ask questions. And this one particular day, I was actually on a phone buster call. And my first phone call, I was like, oh, I forgot to call this lady back in my neighborhood. I've got to call her. I'm like, but this is my phone buster time. I can't do that. I'm like, wait a minute. She could be my first phone call. So I called her back and just started into hey, there's something really exciting that I want to share with you. And I just, gave her that little blurb thinking I was collecting a yes. Well, it turns out that day, she said, I didn't know what to do. I just felt so, and she went into this whole thing about how she was feeling. And I just jumped right into the gates. Like, so how does that feel? The now, help her create the now and what she wants to be. And I swear, I hardly said anything. And by the end of the phone call, she had sold herself on my program. I was like, are you sure? I mean, I was almost a little taken back, but it just was such an example to me of when you're connecting with people, and how many other phone calls that I have done in August, not all of them turned out to be clients, but I was just so excited because I get that same excitement because I connected with people and not worried about the outcome. I mean, of course, we're happy when they sign up to be a client, but I found that the joy is the same because it's the connection with the person. And we've probably all had those clients that sign up and you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to work with that person, or they're going to be really hard or whatever. Just getting to that deeper level, I realized is really, really what's exciting to me about doing this. So I did put the document and the files on Action Pack. Lisa has written it out, how these 5 gates apply to our program. Like, as you're going through the gates, where's the right place to kind of plug in the 3 pillars of support and the habits of health and the meal plan, the financial, how you tie all of it together. So Lisa's put all of that together, and I just posted it in the Action Pack. So everybody can use it. When Lisa first gave that to me almost a year ago, I thought that I looked at it, I was like, okay, I'll just go through all these questions, and I just made it really mechanical. And then after learning about it, I realized that it's not mechanical. You maybe pick one question, the one that applies, and if there's another one that feels like it applies, maybe a second one, and then you move to the next. But just practice that fluidity of going from one to the next. There's not a set plan of doing it because there's not a set of people. Every person's so individual. So I love the individual of it, and how it flows and how natural it feels.
Yeah, definitely. The first few calls I made, I was like asking every single question and just acting like I was like,
yeah,
this takes so long, and I'm sure these people are wondering what the heck.
Yeah. So if you just look at that document, you're like, oh boy, I'm on this call for an hour. But that's not what it's for. It's just a guide, and there's some ideas of how to start asking good questions.
And
But
is that what you all do, like when you meet someone at Costco? Like,
I did today, like try to help them. Like I want to know where they are now in life, and are they happy with it? If the answer is yes, then that's great, you know. But if it's not, it just comes to the surface really quick, and it's bonding. It's really gets deep really quick. So if that's what you're looking for, this is a great tool for that. Like I said, I think it applies to business, to family life, to relationships, to clients, other health coaches, everything. So,
Awesome.
do you have any questions or suggestions or successes?
I think it's great, Becky. I love that you put the emphasis though on this is, this is a really great way for you to affect a lot of relationships. And when you said family, I immediately popped, my little girl, sometimes she can be a little emotional. That's what we'll call it. And so that popped into my head, how can I ask better questions so that I better understand her and what her needs are?
Yeah. Yep. Thanks for being on, and we've recorded it so we can share it with more people. But I hope you have a great week and practice your 5 gates. Look for that document on Action Pack, and we'll see you next week.
Awesome. Thanks, Becky.
Thanks.
Bye, guys.
Bye.